Welcome to the stream, everybody. Welcome. Good morning. Hopefully, y'all had a great end of the day yesterday. I know that as soon as we ended the stream, we actually started seeing Sundial go up in a decent way. So we're going to take a look at that. We have a lot of good news to talk about today, not necessarily for what we've been discussing in the past, but for something a little bit new, something that I just made my first video about yesterday, but something that I've been watching for a long time and I'm actually very excited about. We're going to be talking about SAFEMOON for a decent chunk of the stream today because I have recently gotten into SAFEMOON. I'm going to be buying some more soon. I'll be doing a tutorial showing you guys how to get it because it's not on any of the major exchanges that are really easy to just buy SAFEMOON on. So I will show you guys how to get some SAFEMOON if you're interested in that. Worlds is already in the chat talking about SAFEMOON. Silver, good morning. Rocky Mountain Gobblers, good morning. Good morning, Eric. And once again, Worlds is. So here we go. We're going to start off just briefly recounting what happened with Sundial yesterday. So let's pull up Sundial. We have it over here on the right-hand side. And Sundial, basically as soon as we ended the stream, maybe 30 minutes later, started moving up, made new highs in this uptrend. So all in all, good stuff for Sundial, right? If you look at the 30-day chart right here, you can see that we had that bounce off of 53, the second bounce. The first one happened over here. We kept moving up, bounced off of 69. We've already discussed this. And then yesterday, it looked like we might have been falling. Fortunately, it ended up recovering. We started moving up. So all in all, good stuff for Sundial. We made new highs in the uptrend. Hopefully, we'll make new highs today as well on our way past 70 cents, right? That's going to be a tough one. That's where we bounced off of close to the last time. But I think we can do it now that we're in 2022, now that we've got all these great catalysts finally coming forward. So good morning, Sub-Zero. Good morning, Jim. And Jim asks, there's a stock called SAFEMOON? No, there's no stock called SAFEMOON, but we are going to be talking about SAFEMOON a little bit in the stream because I know probably a lot of people haven't heard about it. It is one of the better known cryptos, but a lot of people in this chat probably haven't heard about it. So good morning, Francis. Good morning, Stand Up, and good morning, Rich M. So to start off, I'm going to just quickly. Actually, I have to pull up all this stuff. I'm going to move it to the other screen real quick. Okay, so to start off, I will say that the events that we've got going on today are at 8:15. We got the ADP non-farm roll employment change. So let me open this in a new tab real quick. And you can see right here that we were forecast to have a change of 400,000, I believe, new non-farm roll jobs. And we ended up having about 800,000. So all in all, good stuff. Much better than expected. We've been doing pretty good, except for this one big blip where we lost 20,000. It looks like potentially right near where COVID was getting to its worst. So all in all, good stuff for the non-farm roll report. And later today at 10:30, we have crude oil inventory. So once again, a little measure of inflation, which I know a lot of people are worried about. We're probably going to have a decent amount of inflation in 2022 is my expectation. Unfortunately, that's probably going to be the case. I hope not for our wallets' sakes, but it seems like that's probably going to be the case. So we'll be getting this crude oil inventories report out soon at 10:30, and we're forecast to have a decrease of 3.28 million barrels. And basically, when you have a decrease in the oil inventories, that means that there is more demand for oil, and that we're actually using some of what we've stored in the oil inventories. So we actually want an increase in oil inventories because we don't want too much demand for oil. We don't want to be losing oil, and because we don't want oil's price to be going up. Since oil is based off of supply and demand, we want the demand to be lower than the supply, and for the supply to be increasing and the price to be lowering. So ideally, we would actually see a red number or a miss here and have more oil in the inventories than what they're forecasting. So that would be ideal, but we'll see what happens. Obviously, it wouldn't be as good for oil prices, but we don't really care about oil prices going up. We want them more so to go down, at least typically, unless we're investing in oil stocks, which I admit I do have a couple because I do expect that we'll probably see some significant inflation in 2022, but that's just the way it is. So good morning, Quaid. Good morning, PhD Dragon. Good morning, Silver. I already said good morning to you. Good morning, Manny C. Good morning, Greg Taylor. Good morning, Jeff. Let's see. So we are going to be starting off just talking a little bit about SAFEMOON. Just for those of you who got here a little early, we're going to start touching on SAFEMOON. I know a lot of you guys may not have heard of SAFEMOON. I mean, if you've been listening to the streams, you should have at least heard of it because I have discussed it in the past a couple of times. So basically, in fact, on the stream, I think I got my first SAFEMOON live from Worlza. So thank you, Worlza, for very much for getting me in, especially right before this pump up in SAFEMOON price of about 50%. Because if I check my SAFEMOON wallet, let's just check that real quick and see what it's at now. It was $50 when you gave it to me, and now it is $77. So it has increased significantly. I'll definitely be buying more, probably doing a tutorial while I buy more, just to show you guys the process as I figure it out myself, because we have had some questions about that. So SAFEMOON basically has been moving up over the past little bit. We're going to be talking about a couple of the reasons why, but it is one that I'm very excited about, one that I would be willing to hold even if the price wasn't going up. SAFEMOON actually has in common with options, something that I like a lot, and that's basically passive income, right? Because SAFEMOON is a crypto that pays you just to hold it, and that's one of the big alluring features of SAFEMOON that a lot of people like. That's one of the things that I like most about it, as well as, you know, what they take this whole tax for, which we're going to talk about in a little bit, probably once we get a couple more people in here. We don't want to leave anyone behind, but I will show you guys just an interesting stat on Google Trends. Over the past 30 days, SAFEMOON has had two big pump-ups on Google Trends. Now, the first one was on December 14th, and I believe that is when they started the initiation of SAFEMOON V2. In fact, if you look at SAFEMOON's price on Coinbase, or not on Coinbase, on CoinMarketCap, and you try going back to the past 3 months, the first day that they actually have tracking for it is December 16th. So that's probably the first day that they started tracking it on CoinMarketCap, but that leads me to believe that probably when they actually converted to V2 was on December 14th, when or at least when they announced the conversion to V2. That may have been December 14th, because that's when a ton of people were searching for it on Google Trends, probably searching SAFEMOON to try to figure out how to convert to V2. We're going to talk a little bit about that. There's a useful graphic that we can use. If anyone's holding any SAFEMOON, doesn't know how to convert to V2, I'm going to show you a useful graphic from the SAFEMOON Twitter that will help you out with that. And then the second big pump up in SAFEMOON search volume we had on December 31st, when we had a search ranking of 88, and that actually came, I believe, when SAFEMOON announced this big news on the 31st. Let's pull it up right here. We'll surely talk about this later. Good morning, Michael Torrance and Hero Hero. So they also announced this on December 31st, 12:05 a.m. So basically, they just announced that SAFEMOON is going to be running advertisements in Times Square. We'll pull this up right here. They're going to be running advertisements in Times Square 365 days a year, 3 times every hour for a whole year. So apparently, they've collected a decent amount of capital, and we're going to talk about how they did that. But they've collected a decent amount of capital. Now they can pay for these advertisements that you can see playing in Times Square, and it has actually driven some more volume in SAFEMOON. So Worlza says you can buy right off the app, but if you live in New York City or Texas, you can't. That's right. I think New York may have, I believe they banned cryptos or something like that. Let me pull up that news right here real quick. We'll pull that up just to see what's going on. I believe that New York did ban crypto. So let's see. So when did this come out? This came out October 18th, and it says New York directs 2 cryptocurrency lending platforms to cease activity. Whereas to cease activity in New York by the state's attorney general on Monday, and 3 other platforms were directed to provide information about their business. The move comes weeks after. Okay, so it looks like New York has not been kind to crypto exchanges or crypto lending platforms. So New York Attorney General forced the exchange CoinSeed to close in New York. And I know that there are a lot of people who will comment on videos. Sometimes if I make a video more about crypto, then I do know there are typically a decent amount of people who do not have access to crypto. Typically they're in New York. They say, how can I buy in New York? And I honestly don't know what to tell them because I'm not sure how to buy in New York. I don't think you are allowed to, if I'm not mistaken. So let me pull this up. New York Attorney General warns cryptocurrency industry, play by the rules or we will shut you down. And this was posted on March 1st of 2021, so almost a year ago at this point. We're only a couple months away from this being a year ago. So New York Attorney General warned individual investors and cryptocurrency industry industry members about the dangers of the digital assets. We're sending a clear message to the entire industry that you either play by the rules or we will shut you down, James said in a press release. James also told investors to proceed with extreme caution when investing in cryptocurrencies. So it seems like New York is taking a similar stance to what China was taking when I believe they also banned cryptocurrencies. Let me pull that up real quick. Okay, so look at that. Yeah, it looks like New York is taking after China in, obviously people think they already take after China in a couple of ways. But we'll pull this up right here. Hopefully I didn't mess with the stream too much when I just hit that button. All right, so crypto is fully banned in China and 8 other countries. So this came out actually yesterday. This just came out. I don't know why this is such a new story. I think it happened a while ago. China made big headlines when it banned crypto last year, but it is only one of dozens of countries and jurisdictions that have either banned digital currency outright or severely restricted it over the past few years. In fact, Egypt, Iraq, Qatar, Oman, Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, Bangladesh, and China. It seems like a lot of Middle Eastern countries potentially have banned it. Have all banned cryptocurrency. 42 other countries, including Algeria, Bangladesh, have implicitly banned digital currencies by putting restrictions on the ability for banks to deal with crypto or prohibiting cryptocurrency exchanges, according to a 2021 report. Okay. Wow. So the number of countries that have banned crypto have doubled since 2018. And all right, so part of their explanation as to why is some governments that have banned crypto have said that cryptos are being used to funnel money into illegal sources and argued that the rise of crypto could destabilize their financial systems. Interesting. So they're worried about their financial systems getting destabilized and their control over the financial systems being kind of weakened. And so they want to ban cryptos preemptively before they're that big of a deal. Interesting. So U.S. Gary Gensler, the chairman of the SEC, has called crypto the Wild West and said he wants to impose more regulation on digital currencies. Interesting. I would probably be opposed to that. I tend to not be a big fan of regulation. I mean, we've seen incredible crypto markets over the years. In fact, I'll pull up some of the crypto markets that we've seen. I'll show you guys some of the crypto markets that we've seen. Pull up Bitcoin, and this is what no regulation gets you, right? If you look at all time, I mean, this just seems to be what no regulation gets you in these markets, right? You have these huge euphoric runs, I will say. I mean, you go from, in 2016, you go from $745 to, in 2017, 15 or even 19,000 at the peaks. And, those are massive euphoric runs. Then you do crash, I will say. Sometimes you end up crashing like 80, 90%. And that's a real possibility, right? That can always happen. But typically, you'll see cryptos come back, right? If they're the big ones, if they're Bitcoin, they tend to come back, right? Some of the smaller ones don't. Obviously, there are a lot of scams out there. There are a lot of smaller coins. In fact, I think maybe we could even pull up a study that shows. Let's see if we can go like page 6 and just see a random crypto that hasn't done too well over all time. Yeah, so it looks like, here we go. Here's one that hasn't done too great. Bluezell to USD chart. So basically, Bluezell looks like it was probably not a great crypto project. I don't know for sure. It has a market cap of 75 million, but it started out in 2018, I believe. Let's see, 2018, in February of 2018, at 78 cents per coin, and then it just continued moving down and crashing. Probably, there was probably some funny stuff going on with who the founders probably selling their coins and whatnot. Who knows? I just picked this one at random. But I will say, not all cryptos just go up perpetually, right? A lot of cryptos end up failing. A lot don't make you any money. A lot of them are scams. I will say a lot of the smaller coins. I'm not picking on Bluezell in particular. I just happened to click this one by chance, and it happened to work out on the graph, right? I expected that if I went to maybe page 6 and found the 500th most popular crypto, then it would probably be one of these scammier ones, right? And it has had runs in the past, right? In just earlier, around January, February, March, April. In April, it was running up again, but it never got up to the highs that it opened at. So right now we're at 23 cents. It opened up at 73 in 2018. So yeah, a lot of the cryptos can be scams, I will admit. It's not like all cryptos are just going to run. when there's no regulation, but that happens in the stock market too. So there are always a lot of stocks. A lot of penny stocks are kind of scams. I will admit there's a lot of scams out there. There's a lot of pump and dumps. That happens with crypto too. And the regulation can help sometimes, but oftentimes I think it hurts a little bit more. For instance, with stocks, the pattern day trader rule, we will pull that up right here just to show you guys an instance that I think is very detrimental to smaller traders. So let me pull this up. The pattern day trader rule. I am not a big fan of this rule, and I believe it only applies to stocks, but we'll pull this up. So pattern day trader. I'm sure a lot of you guys have probably brushed up against this rule and found that it's been somewhat detrimental for you. But a pattern day trader is a trader who executes 4 or more day trades within 5 business days using the same account. So basically, say you were trading Sundial, and it only applies, I'll say, to people who have, no. So you're marked as a pattern day trader if you make 4 or more day trades within 5 business days. So if you trade Sundial, if you look at Sundial and you look at the day, say over the past couple of minutes you bought it at 63, sold it at 63.1, and did that a couple more times, you did it 4 times today, you'd be marked as a pattern day trader. And then you couldn't make any more day trades for, I believe, 3 months or 90 days. I think it's 90 days that you're marked as a pattern day trader for if you do that. And the only way that you can make more trades is if you have $25,000 in your account. Okay? So basically, that creates a strange incentive to desire having $25,000 in your account. It puts a lot of psychological pressure on some traders. I know that, a year or two ago, when I had an account below 25,000 and I was trying to get mine above 25,000, there was definitely a lot of psychological pressure. There was sometimes pressure not to take a trade because I didn't want to become a pattern day trader. There was also pressure to potentially hold a loss, hoping that it would become a win, hoping that I could get back above 25,000. At a certain point, I was very close to 25,000. I was pretty much sitting at it. I was above it, and I really just had a bad mindset because I didn't want to take any losses and get pushed below the $25,000 limit and not be able to day trade anymore. So there are a lot of negative effects from having this rule, and for whatever reason, the SEC enforces this and makes sure that brokerages don't let you trade if you have less than $25,000 in your account. They don't let you day trade for whatever reason, right? I can't really understand why they wouldn't let you do this. I mean, it's supposedly to protect these smaller traders, right? But really, I think it ends up just hurting them by giving them a bad mindset about needing to get above $25,000. It makes people desperate. It makes people scared when they're close to $25,000, but they're above it. They don't want to drop below, and they can end up making bad trading decisions. So, it really is detrimental, I think, having this rule. This is the kind of horrible regulation that I hope they wouldn't impose on crypto, because I don't think I don't believe this currently applies to crypto. So let's see. I think it only applies to securities, so stocks or options. So yeah, I'm pretty sure not crypto, but I mean, it's a real horrible rule. I am not a big fan of the pattern day trader rule. That's the kind of regulation that I would really prefer they keep out of crypto, right? I mean, maybe there's some kind of regulation that they could impose that would be good, but I typically think that regulations are not a good thing, not a great thing. So that's my thought about crypto regulation. I'm really not a fan of the idea. I know that Gary Gensler, I have heard that name before when crypto regulations are being discussed. I know he's a big fan of regulating crypto. That's what we saw in that article, at least. So hopefully that doesn't actually happen. That would be my hope. But once again, New York, basically to sum up this little segment right here, New York is not a big fan of crypto. They're taking more of a stance that other countries like China have taken on crypto. Basically, just a little bit more regulation, potentially banning. I believe it's banned to some extent. I think that a lot of the crypto exchanges are not able to operate in New York. So let me actually look this up. How to buy crypto in New York, if it's even legal. Okay. Wow. So, look at that. Look at that. So, There are, in fact, New York State is one. Okay, so New York State is one of the hardest places in the country to get a business license to buy and trade cryptocurrencies, experts say. The state's regulations are referred to as hostile to cryptocurrency trading. New York's license is called BitLicense, and currently only 29 companies have approval through the state to trade cryptocurrencies. This year, the state's Department of Financial Services granted only 3 such approvals, according to its website. So it looks like cryptocurrencies aren't illegal in New York, but there's only a couple of companies that can actually trade them. So that's unfortunate to see that New York really is taking a bit of a totalitarian stance on crypto. They're really making sure that it's difficult to buy and sell, and that's unfortunate. So not many companies can operate there. That's too bad to see. That's unfortunate, but what can you do? It's New York. That tends to be how they operate with a lot of different things. All right, so let's see what we've got. The S&P, I will point out, if we look back over the past 10 days, well, we'll pull it back over to the past 30, but basically yesterday, we already covered this yesterday, but they made all-time highs in the S&P. So all in all, good stuff for the stock market. The stock market's been doing good. Even though we did take a little bit of a dip yesterday, we did not end at the lows. In fact, we ended pretty darn close to where we closed the day prior. So for 2022, things aren't looking that bad. The stock market's been holding pretty steady. We did move down right towards the end of the day, but we're basically exactly where we closed. There's hardly any difference. We're at 477.3635 now. So all in all, the S&P is doing pretty good. Let's see what the Russell's is doing. The Russell's is looking pretty decent as well. It looks like we're also pretty much exactly where we closed. So not much action in the after hours or pre-market. I mean, there's been a little dip and then a little move back up. Basically just keeping us stagnant with where we have been over the past couple of days. So all in all, not much to worry about. AMC, though, I will say, we're about to buy 10 more shares of AMC. Once the market opens, it looks like we are hitting up $25 as a support right here. So it looks like yesterday we bounced down to 25. We played around it for a little bit. And we've got something playing in the background. There we go. So it looks like AMC moved down a little bit, used 25 as a support, and moved back up. It tried to continue moving up, but we're back at 25 now. So we'll see what happens when the day opens for AMC. If we get a little bit too much volume moving us down, that could be bad. We could break through 25, which I would not. Stand-up says no more buying AMC. Well, I'll tell you what, Stand-up, we've only got one more day until we only have today until we have 100 shares of AMC, and then we'll consider what to do with potential future buys, right? We've got, let me show you right here. We've got 90 shares of it. So we've got to make it to 100. We've got to make it to 100 at least. So we're pretty darn close. We're not quitting on the last day. Let me turn on Do Not Disturb real quick. But yeah, no way we're quitting on the last day. We've got 90 shares right there. So we got to make it to 100 at the very least. Can't quit on the last day. We're so close. So we'll hold the 100 shares of AMC and we'll see what happens with them. I will point out actually that the options on AMC, hold up, that the options on AMC do provide the opportunity to collect some decent passive income. If you look, AMC is currently trading for around 25 bucks. And if you look at the, say, $32 or $30 or $35 call options even, they're selling for about $1 for a month out. So you're collecting $100 for selling these call options every month if you sell them $10 above where the current price is. So it seems like a decent way to collect some passive income. I'm not going to worry about that too much. It looks like we've got the market opening in about 5 minutes, but it looks like just some decent passive income. Even if AMC doesn't skyrocket, it looks like just a way to perpetually accrue a little bit more. And Stand-Up says 10 shares of AMC is now 510 shares of Sundial. That is true. That is true. Sundial, I will say I've got a lot more shares of Sundial than I've got in AMC. So, we'll make it to 100 and that'll be that. And then we'll scope out the terrain. We'll see what goes on with AMC, right? Obviously, a lot of people love it. A lot of people don't like it that much. I don't mind it. I think that there is definitely some potential. I do not mind being diversified throughout a couple of different things. I think that it makes sense. And Zach Taylor says, good morning. Less than 15 days left before massive food shortages and price increases begin. At the very least, if you have a pet, make sure you have plenty of pet food. That makes sense. That makes sense. Always have a lot of pet food around, even if we don't see those massive price increases and food shortages, which, boy, I hope we don't, because that would be pretty brutal. Which, it might happen. We have been living in a pretty golden age to be alive, right? Even during the pandemic, things didn't get that bad, at least where I was. I mean, there were some shortages of some things, but for the most part, we didn't have to worry too much about getting food. There was always a lot of food in the stores. And let me pull up the CDC data real quick. Let's see if they've updated that CDC data, because we have recently hit new records. Here we go. Oh, man. We haven't even gotten to January 4th, which is where we heard that we were going to be getting 1 million new cases per year. Or per day. Sorry. Okay, so I'll pull this up right here. We heard 1 million new cases on January 4th, I believe it was. Or maybe it was Monday? What day was Monday? January 3rd. So look at that. The CDC has different data than what John Hopkins, I think it was. Let me pull this up real quick. So look at this. All right. So hold on. Let me pull this up. So we have differing data coming from the CDC and John Hopkins, I believe it was. Yeah, John Hopkins. So the U.S., this report just came out yesterday on January 4th, and it says U.S. reports over 1 million new daily COVID cases as Omicron surges. So the U.S. has reported a record single-day number of daily COVID cases with more than 1 million new infections. A total of 1,082,549 new COVID cases were reported Monday, according to data compiled by John Hopkins University, as the highly infectious Omicron variant continues to spread throughout the country and beyond. So, all in all, this is actually a little different from what we see when we look at the CDC website. So take a peek at this. The CDC website, this is case counts, right? This is new cases in the U.S. If you zoom in to the last day that they have reported, that is January 3rd, which is Monday, the same day that they were talking about in this article right here. January reported Monday, right? So Monday was January 3rd. And if you look, the CDC says we only had 828,000. So I don't know who to believe. I don't know which one of those is correct. Maybe the CDC. Maybe it's CNBC who's reporting John Hopkins news. But either way, very high case counts. And if you look, it really does dwarf the rest of the graph. I mean, look at this. Look what we're seeing. Look at how low the spike that we had way back in January of 2021 was compared to what we've got now. So obviously, this variant is a lot more infectious. Let's take a peek at deaths and see. It looks like deaths are still decreasing. So good stuff. I mean, really good to see that deaths are not skyrocketing as well, despite having record new case counts. We're actually decreasing a little bit in deaths over the past couple of weeks. So all in all, nothing much to. I mean, obviously any deaths are undesirable, but not as nearly as bad as it could have been if we continued on the death chart as we did with the case count chart. So while there have been some effects on the economy, obviously for airlines and cruise lines, it's looking like, Zach Taylor says we're going to need a bigger chart. We probably will. I mean, look at this thing. It looks kind of ridiculous at this point, just how low all of these numbers are compared to what we're seeing now. So I think we are going to need a bigger chart, Zach. But we'll see what happens. It looks like we missed the opening bell right here, but we'll zoom in on what we've got going on now. So let's take a peek. We'll zoom in on NAKD and AMC. It looks like, all right, this is our chance to buy below 25. Look at that. And the Russells is moving up. I'm happy to see it. Sundial also moving up. But let's buy those last 10 shares of AMC and be done with it. And maybe we'll buy some more AMC later. But here we go. Let's find AMC. Let's buy AMC now, and we'll finally have 100 shares. A respectable amount, I've been told. So let's see. Let's review that. Let's pull up the cam right here. We've got, and of course it's above 25, but whatever. We'll buy it for above 25. So here we go. 10 more shares. This will make the share count 100. The last order on AMC, at least in the live stream. So maybe we'll buy some more later. But 25.11. Of course, it's probably going to drop right below 25 as soon as I'm done buying it. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. And potentially we'll be selling a put or a call contract on it later just to... Oh, yep, look at that. Below 25. Now's probably the best time. Look at this, guys. Let me show you. Quick tutorial right here on how to sell these call contracts. But yeah, I'll pull up the AMC chart briefly just so you guys can see. So basically, all I'm doing is going to AMC, clicking trade options, looking at February 4th. Let's see what they've got for Feb 4. I'd rather do Feb 11. And then, okay, so Feb 11. And then you click the $30 call. And basically, we're going to be selling oh, there's a big bid-ask spread on that. So we don't want that. Let's look at the 4th and see what we've got. In fact, let's pull up the AMC options chain right here and see. Feb 18 looks like it has a much smaller spread, but worse pricing. So Feb 4, let's see. The $30 calls aren't that bad. All right, we'll do Feb 4, and we'll sell the $30 calls. And our average cost on AMC, what is our average cost? It must be below 30. Our average cost is 20 bucks. All right, so not a great average cost, I'll admit. But here we go. So we're going to be selling the $30 calls. We'll sell one for 1.65. And I'll show this to the screen in just a second. But here we go. So basically, this will enable me to collect 165 bucks over the course of the next 29 days. As long as this goes through. There we go. So we're -1 contract. And AMC, as long as it doesn't skyrocket, go up above 30 bucks over the next couple of days, it looks like it's on a bit of a downtrend. Then this should be a profitable trade. So there we go. We've protected our downside a little bit and locked up our AMC. Granted, we couldn't sell AMC at the moment unless we bought back the contract. But we don't want to sell AMC. We want to just keep making passive income off of AMC. So that's what we're doing. That's the name of the game, in my opinion, right? I think that passive income is the name of the game. Look at this. We could have gotten AMC way cheaper at $24.45 had we waited just a couple of minutes. But no matter. No matter. And Lockout469 says AMC is crashing like crazy. It certainly is. It looks like Sundial is moving up, but I mean, AMC's not doing too good. That's why I think it's important to have some diversity in your account, right? If you're all in one stock, I mean, it's just a little too risky. I don't think all in one makes sense. You never know what's going to be making you the most money, right? There's always the possibility that something could skyrocket and that something else could tank. And why not be in both? Because with the stock market, the beauty of the stock market, as long as you're not doing something really risky, is that you can only take your account down 100%, right? It can only go to zero on any one trade. Every trade has the possibility of either going minus 100% and going to zero if the company goes bankrupt and the stock is worth $0, or it has infinite upside. So why limit the amount of stocks that you're in? You know, because if you're in 10 different stocks and one stock goes to zero and 5 stocks stay the same, and if 4 stocks or 3 stocks go up 10% and one goes up 5,000%, you've made a whole lot more money than if you were just in one stock and it was one of the ones that went up 10%. So that's my opinion. That's a very brief explanation of my opinion, but Sundial is doing pretty good. Someone just said in the comments, it looks like we're hopefully going to see a very green day. I mean, green bars all around so far. We haven't seen red yet on Sundial, but we'll see what happens with it. But that's a very brief explanation. I might have to explain that a little bit more in depth at some point, maybe in a video, just explaining my philosophy of why I like to diversify my portfolio through a decent amount of different stocks. And it's been very kind to me. That strategy has been very kind to my portfolio because you never know. I mean, some stocks, I will say, have been up 1,000+%, right? Some of my trades. So, and you do not have to have a lot of money in certain positions to be up a large amount of money if something goes up 1,000%, right? Because then you're 10xing it. So you can definitely make a lot of money with a little bit of money if you're doing it right. So Travis Brusso, good morning. No problem. I'm late sometimes too, man. So no problem. No worries. It looks like silver and gold are starting to come back a little bit. Gold is up 0.6%, and we're potentially continuing this uptrend. You know, it's too bad. I tax loss harvested right towards the end of the year a decent position in a mining stock, Barrick Gold. So we'll see. We'll see if that was a good choice. If we end up continuing to move up massively, not that we've moved up massively yet, but if we do move up massively, I'd be very disappointed in my decision to tax loss harvest that. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I did not want to pay a ton of tax, so I was fine just taking the loss for the year and writing off some other gains. So look at this. The breaking news. CNBC, they'll do it. I mean, they've got no shame. Look at this. Breaking news. I'll pull it up here just because it's a random article, right? Breaking news. Stocks open little changed as rally record takes a pause. I mean, that is what breaking news that is, right? Stocks were mixed on Wednesday morning after the Dow Jones Industrial Average notched a record close the previous day, and as investors flocked to shares that stand to benefit from an economic recovery. Really? Really? So it looks like people might be betting on stocks set to gain from an economic recovery. I would not have thought that would be the case. So let's see. All right. ADP reported Wednesday that private job growth totaled 807,000. We already mentioned that. That was the non-farm jobs report. So yeah, employment change right here. We've got it at 807K, double what we were expecting. So more than double what we were expecting. We're forecast to get 400K increase in those jobs, and we actually got 807K. So we will, I think, be getting the actual employment numbers coming out later this week. I'm pretty sure. Maybe it's unemployment numbers that are coming out later this week. But all in all, good stuff. And Sundial, Worlds says, is moving up with Tilray, I believe. So let's see, where is Tilray? Yeah, Tilray's up 1.7%. We'll pull Tilray up. And yeah, they're moving up decently. So what happened with Tilray? Oh, and look at that. Rhode Island lawmakers near a marijuana legalization deal. Look at that. So I know, yeah, Tilray is moving up. Look at that, up 1.2%. It looks like it could be a green day for cannabis. And I'll also point out MJNA. Getting close to, it actually tapped the highs of yesterday at 0.24 cents, just briefly. Now we're at 0.23 cents. So we'll see what we can get going on MJNA. It's been a pretty profitable position so far. I've made about $473 on MJNA, holding that 100K shares that I've got. So we'll see what happens with MJNA. I think it was a great buy below 2 cents. It made a lot of sense. Looking at the long term, if you look at the max chart on MJNA, we very rarely go below 2 cents, and it's always fairly quickly that we end up rebounding. Typically, it's fairly quickly. So I was happy to buy under 2. I'd been eyeing it for a while, and I thought it looked too juicy under 2 cents per share not to buy a little bit of. So we've got some MJNA, we've got some Tilray, we've got some Sundial, we've got a bunch of these cannabis-related stocks. So we are happy to hold those throughout 2022, probably. I think 2022 will be a great year. Maybe we'll see the peaks in them, maybe we won't. I don't know. It's tough to say. Once we really... And Worlds asks, where can I buy MJNA? Yeah, so it's an over-the-counter stock, so you can't buy it on Webull or Robinhood or those smaller brokerages. You need to go to something like TD Ameritrade or Fidelity, I believe, would also have it. This is TD Ameritrade. This is where I bought it. So you need to go to some of those larger brokerages. And I will say that, unfortunately, there is a commission fee to trade MJNA because it is over-the-counter. There's a commission fee of $6.95. I think that's what it was when I went to buy it. So you do have to pay a little bit of a premium to get in on it, but I'm happy to pay $6.95 to make $473. So if I were to cash out today, it would still be pretty profitable, but even with the commission fee. But we'll see what happens with it. We'll see what happens with it. It's once again, very risky, right? It's not one that I would probably be holding for the long term, because if you look, we have had a bunch of pumps in MJNA, but none of them sustain themselves. It always tends to return to around 2 cents per share. So it is risky, right? It's at 2 cents. I don't view it as super risky, right? Because it always tends to return to 2 cents. But I do think that we could see a decent pump up in it, especially if we start to get some legalization news. It looks like we've started to move up a little bit. It could be the beginning of something big, right? I will say that towards the beginning of last year, we were moving up in a similar way to what we're doing now. And if we get up above 3 or 4 cents, then that might be a signal to a lot of traders to get in on MJNA, similar to what happened in January or early February of last year. It looks like towards the end of January, we were pumping up and early February we moved up to about 22 cents per share. So that'd be about a tenfold increase in the price of MJNA. So I'm looking forward to seeing what goes on with it. And we'll pull up SPY real quick just to get SPY up there instead of gold. I know not too many people, other than Zach and I, maybe Silver as well, are interested in the price of gold, but we'll get the S&P up here. It looks like it made a little V-shaped, a minor recovery, basically what we saw at the beginning of COVID, except on a much shorter scale. So we're down 0.04%. So basically, we're flat on the S&P, as that breaking news from CNBC just told us. But all in all, Sundial up about 1%. Can't complain about it. It looks like we just made new highs in this uptrend, I think. Yeah, look at that. So new highs in the uptrend on Sundial. Good stuff. We're continuing to make new highs every day so far. So I am excited to see that. We're above 64 cents. If we can get above 65 cents today, I'd be very happy about it. Look at that. We're at 65 cents right now. Maybe 66 is on the horizon. We only have 4 more cents to go before we're at that crucial price of 69 cents per share. So we'll see what happens. That is where we topped out last time. So we'll see if we can get past 69 cents this time. Hopefully we can. Hopefully we've got enough people realizing that Sundial is the way, that Sundial is probably going to be doing pretty good. Let's check the shorts on Sundial. And Nick Hood makes a good point. He makes a very good point. He says, we need some more likes. We're at 95 viewers. We're at 40 likes. I think we can do a little bit better than that. You guys know the drill. While I pull up this Sundial short data on Ortex, feel free to like the stream. That would be much appreciated. Helps it get it out to some more people. So it looks like, okay, look at that. So it must have been over the course of late yesterday that some additional shorts exited, because it's slightly up today, but down from where we looked at it yesterday morning. So the short interest on Sundial continues to plummet. And pretty soon, if we get down about another 20 million shorts, then we will be at all-time low short interest for Sundial since June of 2021. If we only need 20 million more shorts to cover, so far over the past month, just about, or even over the past just 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, we've seen about 100 million shorts cover. So if we see another 20 million cover, it looks like a lot of these shorts are starting to play it smart. They're getting out of Sundial. It is really cheap at the moment compared to where it has been historically. So finally, shorts are doing something smart and are covering their positions earlier, sooner rather than later. They probably fear retail and what retail could do to Sundial. They're seeing the beginning of a potentially massive rally. Look at this. The first 3 days of the year are all these big green bars, beautiful green bars. So shorts are maybe getting a little fearful of that, but the short interest is up 0.29% today, so it must have been down a decent amount yesterday, because we are now down to 245 million shares short on Sundial. It has decreased somewhat dramatically. So since yesterday, I think we were at 250 million. Now we're at 245, so about 5 million shorts exited yesterday, and we're down to 11.94% of the free float being short. So all in all, good stuff. Good stuff to see. These shorts finally playing it kind of smart. We're up 2% on the day with Sundial. Look at that. We're trying to get to 65.5 cents. So I think we can do it. We're hitting 65.49 cents. So I think we can get up that extra 0.01 cents and make it that extra half a cent on the way to 66. And NAKD, I will admit, is being a little bit disappointing. We're not seeing too much great stuff with NAKD. In fact, we're flirting with the lows again of around $5 per share. All in all, I believe that the merger's already gone through. So I don't think we have to worry about the NASDAQ listings and whatnot. I think that's already done. So there is no ultimate pressure, I don't think, to keep this thing above $5, or else, people were saying that if we didn't keep it above 5, then it might get, then the merger might end up not being allowed to go through by the NASDAQ. Excuse that cough right there. Water went down the wrong pipe, just very briefly. But it looks like we just hit the lows today, or at least, nope. We're 1 cent above the lows on Centro. So, man, we'll see what happens with it. I expect that as they keep putting out earnings reports and all these deliveries that they keep getting, all these new orders and deliveries that they keep putting out, I think we'll probably start to see good stuff with NAKD. It looks like maybe it's a little bit too early for them. Looks like not enough not enough big players have realized the potential promise that they show. I mean, maybe they're just piling into Tesla. We'll pull up Tesla right here. It looks like Tesla's been doing pretty good. It looks like today they're up 0.6%, and they've been doing pretty good over the past while. I mean, look at that. Anyone who was buying below $900, congratulations, because it was only down below 900 for a very brief period of time, and then you made absolutely massive gains on Tesla if you were in that thing below 900. In fact, let's look. If you bought it at 900 and we're just holding it until now, you're up 28% on Tesla, and you know some whales were doing that too, because Tesla has a massive market cap. There's always a lot of volume in Tesla. It's easy for whales to trade because they don't have to worry about moving the market all on their own. They can trade millions or tens of millions or hundreds of millions worth of dollars worth of stock pretty easily without having to worry about liquidity issues. So a lot of whales probably dramatically increase their net worth. And let's see what Elon Musk's net worth is at this time, because I know it was falling over the past while, but I'm sure it's up big considering that Tesla is up big. So let's see. Oh, wow. So Elon, he fell. He's still number one. He's still number one, but look at this. And look at that. Bernard Arnault has been doing incredibly well for himself. He's 72, though, so we'll see how long it lasts. But Elon Musk, $290 billion of net worth. So he's down below $300 billion. He was up above it for quite a while. But Bernard Arnault displaced Jeff Bezos, and it's crazy to think. I think that he is just the leader of a bunch of luxury brands like Louis Vuitton, and that's where he's gotten a decent amount of his wealth from. Let's open him in a new tab. So one of the world's ultimate tastemakers. So we'll pull that up in a second. We'll look at this list for just another moment. But Elon Musk, number one, $290 billion. Bernard Arnault, $205 billion. Jeff Bezos, $193 billion, and Bill Gates, $137 billion. So that's the list of the top five, at least top four. And Bernard Arnault, it's really surprising to see that he's been able to overtake Jeff Bezos, considering Jeff Bezos made Amazon, something that we all consider to be so useful. And this really shows you where the real money in the world is, right? Bernard Arnault, number two, right here at $205 billion. He got rich. He's one of the world's ultimate tastemakers. He oversees an empire of 70 brands, including Louis Vuitton and Sephora. So it's crazy to see that by selling these luxury products, you can make $205 billion, whereas Jeff Bezos sells everything on Amazon. And it's so useful for so many people. I mean, half the stuff I buy, other than groceries, is off Amazon. I mean, it's one of the most useful things in the world. And he's below Bernard Arnault, who sells Louis Vuitton, shoes and belts and hats and whatnot. I don't know what exactly. I don't buy fancy clothes like that. And Sephora, I think that's perfumes and that kind of stuff. Crazy to see that Bernard Arnault is ahead of Jeff Bezos, just considering what they do, right? Jeff Bezos makes one of the most useful things and one of the most useful services in the world and has gone to space. And Bernard Arnault is selling bags and hats for $1,000 a pair. I mean, it's no wonder he makes a ton of money, right? All you have to do is make your brand very desirable, and then you can upcharge, 5,000% margins, right? You can buy the hat for $20, you spend $20 making the hat, and then sell it for $2,000. I don't know how much Louis Vuitton stuff actually sells for, but that's how Bernard Arnault made his money, it looks like. So crazy to see. Let me, in fact, pull up the Louis Vuitton, the website, and we'll see just how much this stuff costs. So let's see how expensive this stuff is. Okay. So let's see. Let's look at men's stuff, just because I feel like most likely most of the viewers of this stream are men. Something tells me. So let's pull up men's clothes. And AutoCode says fancy clothes after Sundial skyrockets. That's right. That is right. So let's look at men's must-haves. Let's see what Louis Vuitton says are must-have. Look at these sunglasses for $735. How much do you think this cost them to make? I think maybe they spent $20 making this pair of sunglasses. I'm sure it's well made. I think maybe they spent $20. Look at this Tambor Street Driver watch for $7,500. These are the must-haves from Louis Vuitton. The Woodies, oh wow. So if you want a case to hold your glasses, that's $470 right there. So crazy stuff. I mean, insanely expensive stuff. This pair of shoes, or maybe this single shoe, who knows? I can't tell if it's one shoe or two, is $1,040 at Louis Vuitton. Kensington Derbies. A box messenger bag, a messenger bag for $2,520. The watches are where it gets really expensive. Look at this. A Tambor Street Driver watch in blue for $7,505. So it's all very expensive, it looks like. Let's see if we can find the most expensive thing. Oh, wow. This is how you know you're balling, guys. You get the Voges Voyages paperweight. It's in the shape of a little car right here in the top right for $2,070. So that's how Bernard Arnault got $205 billion. He sold this stuff to all the other billionaires and tricked them into thinking that it was worth all this money and that it was such a great thing to have. And that's how he became richer than Jeff Bezos. I mean, I bet Jeff Bezos has bought something from him. So no wonder he deserves it if he's been able to trick people into this. I mean, you know, no diss on Louis Vuitton. I'm sure it's really great stuff. And maybe I'll even buy some someday, right? If Sundial goes to $10, I'll buy some Louis Vuitton. How about that? But Sundial is actually at 66 cents now, so it is rising. It's up 3% on the day. So far, the 2022 rally has been going fairly well. I'm very excited to see the 2022 rally in Sundial stock. And we've just been seeing higher and higher volumes. Look at this. Over the past like 5 or 10 minutes, volumes have just been increasing bar after bar after bar. We've been getting more and more volume in Sundial. We're up 3.5% today. But that does conclude. I'll get rid of this real-time billionaires list. One last look at it. Just crazy stuff. Bernard Arnault is up $2.4 billion today. It looks like people bought, 1,000 pairs of shoes from him? That's all it takes. So, or no, 1 million pairs of shoes for $2,000 a pair. So 1 million pairs of shoes sold today is up $2 billion. Cool stuff. Cool stuff. But for those of you who are new to the stream, it looks like we've got some new people in the stream. I will point out the little disparity. I know we already talked about this, but I'll point out the disparity. No, we won't mention the pandemic again. We won't bother with it. Let's get rid of a lot of these tabs. A lot of these tabs are useless at this point. But Abstract is in the chat. So we've already talked a bit about crypto's Abstract, but I will pull up my new favorite crypto right here. And it's unfortunately one that I have one of the lesser amounts of money in, but I do plan on getting some more. And we've talked about it. I think we talked about it on the stream yesterday as well. Maybe we did. I made a video about it yesterday for sure. But I'll pull up the CoinMarketCap chart of SAFEMOON. SAFEMOON V2. So it looks like over the past 24 hours, we're up 1.26%. So good stuff to see. We're at 0.2765 cents. So all in all, now we're at 0.3103 cents. It looks like we're now up 3.79%. So it just saw a little bit of a pump up. But good stuff to see from SAFEMOON. I'm happy with SAFEMOON. And what I like about SAFEMOON, I will point out, just because we talked about it very briefly at the beginning of the stream, but some people were not here when we discussed it. So I'll go to the SAFEMOON homepage because that will help explain it a little bit. Now, SAFEMOON, there are a couple of things that happen. For those of you who don't know about SAFEMOON, there are a couple of things that I really like about it. And most of my fundamental likings for this crypto have to do with this 10% tax that they take when you buy and sell it. So SAFEMOON, when you buy and sell, has a 10% tax placed on it. That's meant to incentivize people to hold the coin, right? They want people to hodl the coin instead of just trade it around, and that's understandable, right? Because when you just hold the coin, it helps the coin price go up instead of buying it and then selling it later. That actually helps the coin price go down. The selling part of it does, at least. So if you just buy the coin and hold, and if everyone does that, then eventually there will be a lower and lower free float, right? That's not technically the actual definition of free float, because at any point you could sell. But if you're not going to sell, right? If you're hodling, you're essentially lowering the free float, and that would have the effect of raising the price. So that is why they take that 10% tax, and they have that 10% tax going to a couple of really interesting places. So let's see. So the first place that it goes, 1% of that 10% tax goes to a growth fund, and that is added to the SAFEMOON Ecosystem Growth Fund that helps them with marketing, development, like they just upgraded to SAFEMOON V2. So 1% of any transaction on SAFEMOON, 1% of any trade on SAFEMOON, buy or sell, goes to the growth fund. So you're actually paying for the marketing of SAFEMOON when you get when you buy SAFEMOON. You're paying for a little bit of the marketing, and one of the best examples of that just happened recently. On December 31st, they announced it. Let's pull up Sundial. It looks like Sundial's doing pretty darn good. But one of the best examples of that, which they just announced, happened on December 31st, and it's basically their initiative to launch SAFEMOON ads on Times Square billboards 3 times every hour for an entire year. So it's absolutely... and Whirls Rizvi asks, did you turn on your reflection tracker on SAFEMOON wallet? I did not. I will do that right after I finish explaining the SAFEMOON. I will figure out how to do that at least. Hopefully it's easy. But basically, they'll be running these ads. You can see a picture of them right here on New York Times Square billboards about SAFEMOON, increasing the attention that SAFEMOON gets. And if you look over the past month, you can see that as soon as they started running these ads on December 31st, right here, SAFEMOON continued to rise. We got a lot more volume coming into SAFEMOON once they announced this. Potentially, a decent amount of it was just hype in the SAFEMOON community already because they realized these ads would be running. But also, there are surely some people seeing those billboards and buying up some more SAFEMOONs. So that is an example of what the 1% of the growth fund can go towards. Now, the next thing, 2% of these transactions, 2%, are burned. So token burn is essentially when you take a crypto, you destroy that coin. So you're destroying 2% of every transaction, which is really good for the long-term price of SAFEMOON, because instead of it being like the dollar, which is an inflationary asset, or I guess an inflationary currency, right? They're constantly printing more dollars. That's why we get inflation, and everything costs more and more in terms of dollars over the long term, right? When you have, say, if you're going to buy a car, the car will cost more and more every year to buy a new car because they're printing more dollars. There's more in circulation. And that is an unfortunate side effect of the government being in control of the dollar and being able to just print more and more, right? SAFEMOON, no one can print more necessarily, but you get, let's see, where was that page? Here you go. 2% of it gets burned every transaction. So that's a really good aspect of SAFEMOON. So it's deflationary. So over time, there's less and less SAFEMOON, decreasing the supply. And even if there's the same amount of demand, but the supply is decreasing, that will lead to an increase in price, because you guys have, hopefully taken economics or understand basic economics of supply and demand and how that works. When there is less supply and the same amount of demand, price increases. So the next thing is LP acquisition. That's a liquidity pool. That's essentially, maybe we'll make a full video explaining this. Even I don't fully understand exactly the ins and outs of how it works, but essentially my understanding is this is what allows them to not have market makers. So when you're in a stock market, you have a bunch of market makers that are allowing these transactions to go through. And it's not literally, when you buy Sundial for where it's at for 65 cents, it's not literally that someone else is at that instant selling Sundial for 65 cents and you're buying it for 65. There are market makers adding liquidity, buying and selling shares of Sundial constantly, helping it trade more fluidly. So it's role of market makers. That's what they do, and that's what this liquidity pool is adding to. So they're essentially just making the bid and the ask a little bit closer. And with reflections, this is my absolute favorite part of SAFEMOON. 4% of any transaction goes to reflections with SAFEMOON. So 4% is redistributed to all existing holders of SAFEMOON. So if you're holding SAFEMOON, then you get more SAFEMOON just for holding it. So it's basically an interest rate paid in SAFEMOON. So you're getting 4%, not 4% a year, but 4% of every transaction. Not you specifically, right? That's divided between all the shareholders. So the more SAFEMOON you have, the more you get. But basically, over time, if you just buy and hold SAFEMOON, you constantly accrue more. So you don't even need the price of SAFEMOON to go up in order to be making money with SAFEMOON. So all in all, these are some of my favorite parts about it. That's why I plan on buying some more. I'll definitely be doing a tutorial of some type fairly soon, just to show you guys. But let's see. Where else it says you have to watch the new SAFEMOON video, SAFEMOON Operation Phoenix. I'll definitely take a look at that. I have heard of Operation Phoenix. And look at Tesla. Look at Tesla just skyrocketing. They're on their way to $1,200. It looks like Tesla's reaching for $1,200 over these past couple of minutes, over the past 30 minutes or so, it's been reaching for 1200. So we'll see if Tesla can get there. That's good stuff. But that is those are the reasons why. A couple of the reasons why I am a big fan of SAFEMOON. So need to pull these tabs over separately, it looks like. All right. There we go. So, all in all, my name is K, says check first, Majestic Silver Corp. I do hold, I believe, a little bit of FSM stock. No, that's Fortuna Silver Mines. So First Majestic. Oh, is that AG? No. Or it might be. First Majestic. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, I believe I hold some AG. Yeah, so I'm a fan of AG. I think, we just need the price of these actual metals to go up if we want to see if we want to see good moves in these miners. We just need to see the price of the underlying metals go up. So we're just waiting for that, honestly, at this point. And let's do a quick peek at DWAC just to see what we've got going on. It's still just stagnating around $50 to $55, which, hey, I can't complain, right? I'm making money every day that it stays there because the option contracts that I've sold on it are at their full profit if we're above $50. So every day we're just getting some time decay, some theta decay going on with those option contracts that I've sold. So I'm happy as long as we're above 50 with DWAC. I don't mind it. Obviously, the sooner we move up, the better, right? Because that would actually lead to those options contracts being worth even less sooner. So I'd be happy to buy back those options contracts that I've sold. I've sold some put options on DWAC, and basically, as long as we're above 50 over the course of this year, I'll be making the full profit. So I'm happy with whatever happens. Even if we drop a bit, I'm making money until we're below $15 per share. So I don't think that's going to happen at the very least. So it's a pretty safe trade that I've taken. Those are the types of trades that I like. I like the really safe trades where you're dealing with options and making passive income, basically. Those are my favorite kinds of things. That's one of the reasons why I like SAFEMOON, because SAFEMOON is paying you these 4% reflections from every transaction, so it is giving you passive income. That's one of the reasons why I really like it. Also, the coin burn makes a big deal, right? That's a big difference with this token versus a lot of other tokens. The fact that they are burning tokens every time a transaction goes through, really good thing, because a lot of the issue that we see in the crypto markets today, I'll pull up, let me see if I can find CoinMarketCap. Take Shiba Inu, for instance. I know we all have heard of Shiba Inu, and one of the problems with Shiba Inu is that it's tough. We've seen this problem with Shiba Inu. We've seen it with Doge. It's tough to get something to keep rallying once you get a certain market cap. So we got up. We were at about 2 to 3 times of the market cap that we're at currently. Currently, we're at 17 million. Maybe we got to 50 million on Shiba Inu near the peaks, when we were at the peaks of Shiba Inu. And it's just tough to get enough capital flowing into something to be making a significant amount of money or to cause a significant price increase at those levels, right? You really need some big whales coming in. You need not many sellers, and it's tough to do because at a certain point, people have made so much money, they just want to sell, and the market cap is really a big limiter on how much further something like Shiba Inu can go, unless you just keep getting more and more hype perpetually. So currently we're sitting at a market cap of 17 billion, and it's tough to get it to rise significantly, right? Maybe we could get back up to the highs, but past 50 billion, it's really tough. The thing about SAFEMOON is not only is the market cap much lower currently, it's currently at about 3 billion right now, at least the fully diluted market cap of SAFEMOON V2. But the upside is, even if it gets up to a very high market cap, there's probably going to be a lot of volume, and there's probably going to be a lot of coin burn because of that volume, which will be decreasing the market cap constantly. So basically, the market cap is perpetually getting lower and lower, allowing it to continue rising in price while maintaining the same market cap. So that's why that's why people call it SAFEMOON, right? I think that's why they named it SAFEMOON, partly, because this 10% tax is going to a bunch of things that will, in their eyes, in the eyes of the developers, inevitably bring SAFEMOON to a much higher price. Now, we've yet to see if that will truly happen or not. I think there's a very good chance that it will, which is why I plan on buying some more SAFEMOON. But obviously, none of this is financial advice. I'm not recommending anyone do anything in the crypto space, in the stock space with their money. You got to make your own decisions. I'm just letting you guys know why I'm a fan of SAFEMOON. So let's see. Bitcoin. Are we making new lows on Bitcoin? Did we just make new lows over the past couple of days? It looks like we got very close. 45,834. No, so we haven't made new lows on Bitcoin today, but we're getting very close. In fact, we did see a little spike up in volume. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with Bitcoin. We're at 46,700. We're getting pretty darn close to the lows and continuing this downtrend that we've been on ever since we were at the highs of 68,000. So we've lost about 20,000 per Bitcoin over the past 2 months just about. So scary to see for a lot of Bitcoin holders out there. I am one of them. I am holding some Bitcoin. An abstract says SafeMoon wallet. Yeah, Rachel Gray asked, where do you buy SafeMoon? That's where. And Travis Brusso says their website. I'll try to do a tutorial pretty soon on how to buy SafeMoon. I'm going to go through the process, and I'll screen record some of it and whatnot, and hopefully make sure there's no personal information on there. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'll try to do a tutorial on it. How about that? Because I do plan on discussing it on the channel in the future, and I can imagine it would be somewhat complicated or just somewhat unclear and not the best situation if I was just to be discussing it and not explaining how to actually get it, because I do understand it is not the clearest cut process to go through to get SafeMoon. There's a couple complexities in there. You have to pay gas fees with BNB coin, so there's some complexities there. And finally, due to this whole process, I'm starting to see why BNB coin might be the third highest market cap crypto at $85 billion total, right below Ethereum, which has a 450 million market cap coin. Abstract said to check the DM on. No, I need to check that DM. That's right. I'm sorry, I do not go on social media that much. I will put that in my notes right now, though. Let me put that on my to-do list, because I did forget about that. Check IGDM. There we go. We will do that after the stream. Hopefully I'll find you. Hopefully it's abstract something. There we go. So I will do that after the stream, abstract. I did forget about that. But let's see. What was I saying? I can finally understand why Binance Coin, BNB Coin, is the third highest market cap, because it's actually useful for gas fees, right? So there is some utility to it. And my name is Kay says, can you create a Discord server? We will definitely be doing that, man. At 10K subs. That's what we've been saying. And let's see right now, how many subs do we have at the moment? Let's see what we've got right here. So currently we're sitting at, we're very close. We are at 9,200 subscribers. So if anyone wishes to join the family, get in on the channel, feel free to subscribe. We've got 9,201 subscribers. And Worlds says, do not buy SafeMoon V1, you will lose your money. I believe that's the case. So feel free to subscribe right now. We'll be making at 10,000 subscribers a Discord channel, and that'll help us stay in touch even when, the markets are closed, when the stream isn't going on. So if anyone wants to, feel free to subscribe to the channel. It's much appreciated. We've been getting very close. It's tantalizing how close we are to 10,000 subscribers. I can taste it. So we were aiming for that before the end of 2021, but I think we can definitely get there before the end of January. We've still got 25 days left. I think we can do it. So Abstract thinks I'll like that message. I think I will too, but all in all, we're looking at a pretty green day. Even though Sundial has been falling a little bit over the past couple of minutes, we still made new highs in this uptrend, which is what we like to see every day, making new highs. As long as we don't revert down to the lows of day, I'm not too worried about Sundial. We've seen, even if Sundial does move down a bit and make lows a day, they do tend to come back in this uptrend at least. So we'll see what happens with Sundial. We're still up about 1% on the day with Sundial stock. I'm happy to see it. And James Wood says Harley Davidson is merging with a blank check company. That could be good. I know a lot of people who like Harley Davidson, but I'm not necessarily a fan myself. I don't do, I believe it's motorcycles. So let's see. So look at this. When you do a search on Google Trends for Harley Davidson over the past week, it doesn't seem like there's too much more volume. Maybe the people who are riding Harley Davidsons aren't too into stocks. Maybe that just hasn't been a big spike in their interest yet. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. So let me pull up the short interest. Travis Brusso. Asks what? Rob. I don't know, man. I'm not sure. Maybe I should look up Harley Davidson. American motorcycle manufacturer. Oh yeah. Oh, definitely it is. Okay, so there we go. So now we know Harley Davidson is the greats motor. Yeah, I believe it. I know some people who ride motorcycles. I know that it's the Louis Vuitton of motorcycles. No, maybe not the Louis Vuitton, but it's definitely a loved brand for sure. In fact, I think I've been to a Harley Davidson store, and it was pretty cool. Just seeing all the bikes in there, but let's see what we've got on CNBC, if there's anything interesting going on. So I don't know if anyone's interested in Ford stock, ticker symbol F, but Ford's 2021 sales down 6.8%, but finishes the year with a strong fourth quarter. So sales did decline compared to 2020. Wow, well that's not good. I know they had a great 2020. In fact, if we pull up Ford stock, we'll pull it up in the top left just to briefly look at Ford stock. You can see, we'll pull up the past 2 years. They did absolutely incredible in 2020. At least the rebound was absolutely incredible. If you got them on the dip after COVID, they were down below $4, and then they doubled to above $8. 2021, the stock price has been doing incredibly well, and it looks like ever since the year ended, if you bought right before the year end, you're already up about, what is that, 20%? Yeah, you're up about 20%. They closed the year around $20. Now they're at $23.70, so almost 24. So yeah, I mean, good deal on Ford if you ended up buying it in the recent past. But they have been shooting up. It looks like when they revealed potentially some of their numbers. Look at that. So there's constantly news for Ford. It looks like Ford is a busy bird with all this news. Busy bee, actually, I think it is. So yeah, we got a bunch of volume. 311 million shares trading on Ford yesterday, pumping their price up to all-time highs, I believe. Yeah, look at that. Over the past 5 years, I remember when I first started getting into the stock market, I took a look at Ford, and I was never a fan of them because I just saw perpetually their stock price going down and down and down. But man, I wish I'd bought it $4 per share. That would have been an absolutely massive gain, a 6x increase in value, in capital, if I'd bought at $4 at the pit of the recession that was brought on by the pandemic. So I think that would have been a good idea to buy into Ford stock, but so be it. And Hero says Sundial Growers $5 today. I don't think it'll get to $5 today. It's up 2% on the day, but we are actually rebounding from, looks like 64.5 cents acted as a little support for us. That was a level we could rebound off of. Now we're moving back up on the way, hopefully make new highs a day. I mean, it's understandable if we don't. We're already up a couple of percentage points, and we're already seeing a green bar for the day. You can't rush these things too much. We haven't gotten the great catalyst that we're expecting of legalization coming through yet. It doesn't look like it's quite ready to happen yet, but we are starting to move up on Sundial, potentially in anticipation of the Alcana merger, or the Alcana acquisition, I should say. So all in all, things are looking pretty good for Sundial, at least over the past couple of days. It looks like we've been moving up fairly well. I'm excited to see it. We'll pull back up the SPY, which I have to say, that CNBC article talking about breaking news, stocks are stagnant. I don't know if I would call that breaking, but stocks certainly are stagnant. It looks like the S&P at least has not been moving all that much. And let me pull up just to see what the top trenders are, if there are any big movers, as well as the market map. I do like to take a peek at that from time to time. So look at that. So the top trenders are LGVN, actually, top trending, Longeveron. So I know we've heard of this one before. It looks like it's on the uptrend. It's up about 13% on the day. And MYNZ is up 48% on the day. The most active stocks on StockTwits are, of course, AMC and SPY, and then Tesla. So both of those are down except for Tesla. Tesla's up almost 1%, but the market map will pull up right here and just check it out real quick. So you can see it's a fairly green day in the smaller market caps, but the big ones like Microsoft, Apple, Google, Facebook, Amazon, even Home Depot are a little red. They're either slightly red or gray. So they haven't moved much, or they've moved a little bit down. So all in all, we're seeing a pretty good market day for these small caps, which makes a lot of sense because if you've looked at the market, we'll get rid of this forward story, but if you've looked at the market, the S&P, for the past, we'll pull up the past year, it's basically just been straight up and up and up. We moved from the S&P a year ago today from $368.05 to $479.98. So that's the lows to the highs over the past year. We've moved up incredibly. And if you take a peek at IWM, granted, during the beginning of January, we saw a big rally from 193, but pretty much the whole year we've been stagnant. In fact, if you get rid of that, we've pretty much just been stagnant all of 2021 in IWM, which is the Russells. So it tracks some of the smaller market cap stocks. So I think it's about time that some of these smaller market caps start to get some love and start to move up in price a little bit. Maybe the larger market caps, the tech stocks, we've been seeing not incredible stuff in 2022 so far for tech stocks. Tech stocks have been moving down a little bit. Unfortunately, over the past couple of days, I'm still a big fan of tech stocks. I still think that tech stocks will do incredibly well over the long term, but maybe they need to take a little bit of a breather. Maybe, the markets are suffering a little bit as we see these higher case counts. People could potentially be worried about that. And potentially some of the smaller market cap stocks have been suffering for a little bit too long. People are starting to eye them as slightly juicier teals. So we might see those smaller market caps start to run pretty soon. We're already seeing Sundial. We're up 0.5%. It looks like we've rebounded down a little bit, down to 64.5, where we found support last time. We'll see if we can do it again. Hopefully we can. But yeah, a lot of these smaller market cap stocks have just been getting crushed over the past couple of months. Ever since, really, I think since June. In fact, I think that's when AMC ended up peaking at $72. Since early June 1st, it looks like. June 2nd. June 1st and June 2nd is when AMC was peaking. So it looks like since then, a lot of retail traders have been getting hurt, not just on AMC, but on all the small market caps. And I think that we need to see a bit of a rebound in some of these retail favorites. I think it's about time that retail makes some money again. It's been a tough half a year for retail ever since AMC. That's the beginning of the end for a lot of these. You can take a peek at Sundial. It looks like in early June they started rebounding with AMC. Both times that we've seen these meme stock driven rallies, Sundial's been moving up incredibly. So once again, in early February, they were at their highs of $4.80 something cents. And we can take a peek at that, what exactly it was. I think 487. Yeah, look at that. So Sundial hit their highs of 487 in the pre-market on February 11th. And if you look at the past year, they saw another rally right around when AMC was pumping. The day after AMC peaked, or 2 days after AMC peaked, Sundial peaked at $1.50 just about. So we could certainly use retail making some more money. It's interesting to see that Sundial tends to perform a bit better when AMC performs better. So when people are making money, something I've noticed, we have Sundial on two charts, so I'll get rid of this one, and we'll pull up AMC. It looks like there's a potential situation where people will make money, on AMC. We'll also pull up GME real quick for this comparison. It looks like, you saw GME pump in late January. It peaked out. Obviously, a lot of retail traders were making money. Some retail traders had bought in way before this, and some were savvy enough to sell at these highs. Same thing with AMC. AMC went from $1.91 in early January, and by late January, it was close to $20. So they were making a lot of money in these trades. And then you see, in early February, about 10 days later, Sundial is pumping up to around 487. That's the peaks that we saw on Sundial. So a lot of those people ended up taking their money out of GameStop, it looks like, out of AMC, putting them into Sundial. Then you see a similar thing once again. You look at AMC and also I think GameStop as well. We'll pull this up. GameStop pumped a little bit after AMC's pump, honestly, but AMC pumped up, hit their highs on June 2nd, right here. They hit highs of 72.62, and then June 3rd, Sundial hit their highs of $1.48. So they were on the run-up while AMC was on the run-up, but they did peak right after AMC peaked, right after people potentially made a decent amount of profit in AMC stock. So all in all, it seems like the meme rallies can oftentimes have a very beneficial effect for Sundial stock because it is, in its own right, a meme stock. A lot of people were touting it as a meme stock way back when. That's one of the reasons why it was able to run up so much. That's why these meme stock traders, people who've made a lot of money off of these stocks, potentially poured a decent amount of money into Sundial and ran it up, and potentially made a decent amount of money off of it as well. So, some traders definitely made a killing in early or late January and in early June. So a lot of these stocks, they do provide opportunities. Now I'm excited that we're in 2022. We've had a bit of a disappointing end to 2021. A lot of these stocks didn't do too well in late 2021. They just kind of they found their tops in June, and then they just started moving down. I think the 2022 brings some new possibilities. January was the last time we saw a big pump, and we could certainly be moving up a decent amount from here. And MWS says if Sundial could hit 67 cents today, that would be amazing. I agree. I think that would be great if we could hit 67 cents. We've gotten very close, 66.5 cents. So we were only half a cent away at the peak of the day. We'll see if we can do it. I mean, we have moved up more than that in the past. So we've moved up over the past 5 days. We've been doing pretty darn good on Sundial from the close of the previous day to the open of the next. So the close of this day, close of the next, we were up 6% on that day, and let's see, then we were up 3.5%, and today we've only been up. Let's see, at our peaks we were up 3.5%. We could definitely get up to 67 cents. That would only be a 4.5% gain. We've done 6.5 before, so it wouldn't even be out of the question to see us move up a little bit more. Currently, we're up 1.5%, so we'll see what we can get on Sundial stock. I mean, I'm happy with it, having just made these new highs a day, continuing the uptrend, making new highs over this most recent uptrend. I'm happy just to see that every day it's perpetually making newer highs, even if it doesn't maintain them the whole day. It seems like they tend to make highs the next day, but we are seeing, I will say, a decent amount of Sundial volume. We saw a lot of Sundial volume on these bars. It looks like some people may have decided to sell some shares. Maybe as we did end up moving down on that peak at 66 cents, some people got worried about it. I'm not too worried about it. I'm still very happy to be holding my Sundial shares. And Abstract says I've been holding Sundial for almost a year now. I've been holding it for a lot longer, not a lot longer necessarily than a year, but if we take a peek at the 2-year, I bought it back in right around here in I think, where was 19 cents? I bought it at 19 cents right before the November election. I figured that the election could be good for Sundial stock either way it went, and it certainly was a good time to be buying. I'll tell the story. I was initially a bit scared of this buy that I made on Sundial right around 19 cents. I think it must have been here in October 15th or something like that, because Sundial, I bought it at 19 cents per share, and it kept moving down. I saw it get down to 15, to 14, and then to 13 something cents. And I was getting somewhat worried about Sundial just because it had perpetually been moving down and down and down. I was wondering, is it going to get to 2 cents? And then it moved up big to 50 something cents. I was diamond handsing Sundial stock. It moved down to 24, moved up to 91 again, moved down to 485, and then it started pumping up big. And I started selling options on it when it went around $1. And the premiums that I was collecting on those options for monthly expiration dates were more than what I had paid for Sundial stock to begin with. So it was crazy. It was a super profitable time to be selling options on Sundial right around all this hype when the implied volatility was super high. I was making a killing off of Sundial. So I'm happy to do that all over again as we see Sundial stock hopefully rise quite a bit more. I'm happy to start selling options on it. So all in all, Nate Galligan says, did you sell it for and then rebuy? I did not. I was just selling options the whole time. So my shares were locked up with the options, but I was making decent premiums using those shares as collateral. Basically making, thousands of dollars a month just selling Sundial options. It was crazy. So the hope is to do that again. And my name is Kay, says Rob. Search LQST. Learning Quest Tech, LQST. Looks like nothing's popping up here in the bottom left chart, unfortunately, for LQST. I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know. LQST is not showing up, unfortunately. We'll pull AMC up there and pull up SPY right here. So it looks like the markets might be coming back a little bit. We're making new highs of day in SPY. Maybe some of the big tech stocks are coming back. If we take a peek at the market map. It doesn't look like the big tech stocks are coming back, but so be it. So be it. It looks like some additional shorts have come into Sundial, though. I'll show you guys the short interest. It's up 2% on the day. It's not as high as it was yesterday. We're still at 249 million, so below 250, which is where we were yesterday. 12.18% of the free float is short on Sundial, so a couple million shares got shorted. Potentially, that's what happened here. Potentially, that's when that happened. Right around here is when it happened, when they saw us getting above 66 cents. Some shorts may have came in. You see some decent volume over here. That might have been some shorts deciding to make a quick buck on Sundial, pushing it down. And Robert Kuntz says, Rob, are you buying into Alcana by chance to secure some extra shares after the merger? No, I'm not buying any Alcana shares. I'd rather just hold Sundial and let what happens happen, right? Because the merger, we don't know for sure if the vote's going to pass. We suspect it will pass, and that should help the share price, I suspect. But we don't know for sure if the vote's going to pass, right? Because last time they delayed the vote to get enough votes to come in, and we'll see. I mean, today is the last day. The 5th is the last day to proxy vote. So to vote by proxy, if you wish to vote in the merger, if you hold Alcana shares, that's what we really need people to do. We need them to at least vote one way or the other so that 65% of the votes can come in. And that's what we actually need for the merger to be able to go through. We need 65% of these shares to have voted, of the Alcana shares to have voted. So nothing needs to be done if you're a Sundial shareholder, but if you're an Alcana shareholder, then you might want to send in your proxy vote. And IQST. IQST is the one. So let's take a peek at IQST. So it looks like we're up. We're up a couple percentage points today. Over the past 10 days, we've seen a decent rally. Let's see what we've got going on. So, oh, is this... Hold on. Is this Harley Davidson? So, publish another letter. Is this the Harley Davidson SPAC? It might be. I don't know where it would mention that, but let's see. Let's see what we got. If okay, so they announces their plan to manufacture EV motorcycles. Okay, so maybe it's not Harley Davidson SPAC, but IQST. Let's pull them up on MarketWatch and see what we've got as a description. IQST. So let's see. Profile. It's a holding company which engages in the provision of technology and telecommunication services, offers long-distance voice services for telecom carriers and submarine fiber optic network capacity for data carriers and internet service providers, both land-based and mobile. Okay, interesting. And they have a letter of intent to start producing EV motorcycles. So that's interesting. I could definitely see EV motorcycles making a lot of sense. So yeah, this could be good. I mean, on the 21st, they announced 2022 net income positive, 90 million revenue forecast. Wow, so look at that. I mean, this is interesting at the very least. Let's see what the market cap. It's pretty darn cheap at 87 cents per share, but the market cap is really what matters. They've been up to $2 before. They've been doing not too bad over the past couple of months. So they were down at 40 cents for a while. They found some support, and then they hit a buck, bounced down to 87 cents. So let's see what's going on with IQST. If we've got any news on Yahoo Finance coming out for them. IQST, that should tell us something at least. And we're getting close to the end of the stream, but we'll stick around for an extra second while we figure this out. So, okay. So IQST expects to meet NASDAQ shareholder equity requirement imminently. All right, well, what is this one all about? It's Harley, says James Wood. Oh, I see. So are these the warrants or something? IQSTW? No. So IQST this can't be the warrants. Merger and days $1 options. IQST warrants under a buck. Okay, so this must be the Harley Davidson. It's an over the counter, it looks like. Yeah, so this is interesting. I'll take a look at that later probably, but For now, guys, for now, it's 10:30. It's time to end the stream. We've seen some good stuff. We've seen the continuation of the uptrend on Sundial. We've discussed SafeMoon for quite a bit, so hopefully, anyone who was confused about it now has a bit of an understanding of SafeMoon and why I'm interested in it. And we've also seen the markets come back a little bit. So the markets are actually almost green for the day. SPY is only down 0.02%. So it looks like we might have a green week coming in the next couple of days, which hopefully we will. I mean, I'm always happy to see stocks go up, right? The dollar, I'd rather not hold cash. I'd rather hold stocks and other assets. So I'm happy to see it, but hopefully y'all are having a green day also. I know I am. But other than that, guys, I'll see you tomorrow. And I think that's it. So I'll look into IQST and Abstract. I'll check your DM. Other than that, guys, have a great day. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.